This story is crazy. 8 members of Congress are now calling for a full-scale investigation into Elon Musk because he was allegedly able to predict the results of the 2024 election 4 hours before it was officially called. Sources close to the Hill, speaking anonymously, revealed that the lawmakers are alarmed by Musk's access to what they described as proprietary election data. The controversy began when Joe Rogan disclosed that Musk had developed a custom app on his phone capable of delivering real-time vote tallies with pinpoint accuracy. During this episode, he explained that Musk had developed a bespoke app on his phone which was able to give him precise numbers of votes ahead of time, several hours before the networks announced it. Take a look.
So as the results were coming in, 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me Elon was like, "I'm leaving, it's over, Donald won."
He was also noticed compulsively checking his phone on election night with Donald Trump. 8 Democratic members of Congress have said they are demanding a full inquiry, including subpoenas for Musk's app code, X platform algorithms, and any communications between SpaceX, Tesla executives, and Trump before the election. Knowing all of this information, the tweet Elon Musk sent out on June is very uncanny. Remember, he said, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51 to 49 in the Senate." This also reminded me of a quote by Donald Trump that he said on January 19th, 2025. He said, "Elon Musk knows those computers better than anybody. All those computers. Those vote counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide." This is all a major red flag. Elections are supposed to be handled by neutral institutions, not by billionaires who are using private software to allegedly access real-time, non-public vote data. If he's able to secretly access this non-public data, then what makes you think he couldn't alter it?
Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and this is what is going on in 2024 election in America. Many people are complaining that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are involved in voting fraud. Then Elon Musk have tweeted this: "Without me, Trump would have lost this election."
Well, Trump supporters, credit where credit's due. You were right. It turns out there was indeed voter fraud. Unfortunately, it wasn't in 2020. It was in 2024. And it wasn't the Democrats or a bunch of illegals. It was your boy Elon. The Georgia State Board of Electors just discovered that Elon's PAC sent out a bunch of pre-filled absentee ballot applications to people in several counties in Georgia, which is very illegal. I bet it feels really weird for years to claim that there's been tons of voter fraud, and it turns out to be you guys, isn't it? Now, when the Georgia State Election Board found out about this, they issued a letter of reprimand to his PAC.
Mr. Chair, I think that there is evidence to suggest that America PAC is in violation of 21-2-381 when they sent to an elector pre-filled absentee ballot applications in November of 2024.
Now, what does a letter of reprimand do? Well, unfortunately, it doesn't do much. It's basically an official warning to the PAC that they broke the law. However, it can be used in a court and in further investigations to show that they were made aware of the fact that they did something illegal. So if other people in the state of Georgia wanted to open an investigation in this for criminal proceedings, they could use this as a reason. But as usual, just like we always said, it wasn't the Democrats or a bunch of undocumented immigrants who were causing the problem. It was always the Republicans and Donald Trump.
So the Georgia State Election Board found that, a super PAC funded by Elon Musk violated state election law. They sent pre-filled absentee ballots to voters, or absentee ballot applications to voters. I want to be correct. And like I said, that's totally against the law. And another thing they failed to do was when you send this stuff out to voters, you are supposed to let them know that it's not coming from the government. You're supposed to let them know that you are not a government agency. I don't know the exact language, but you have to put language on there that can be easily seen, letting people know that they're getting this piece of mail from a political action committee. And these applications are supposed to be completely blank. They're supposed to be...
All right, y'all. I need you to do something right now. Go on Google and search Elon Musk election interference, and you'll find so much evidence. Because Elon Musk is committing the largest election interference campaign in modern American history just to get Trump elected. He knows he's guilty of it, and he's doing something called projection. He's saying everyone else is committing election interference. Anyone pro-Kamala, that is, to relieve himself of any suspicion. You'll never hear him say that any pro-Trump institution is committing election interference. Why do you think that is? So please look it up. Just to give you a couple examples, he's been part of an operation most recently sending fake text messages to college students in key swing states, encouraging them not to vote and that they can't vote on their college campuses. That's completely untrue. He knows that college students are more likely to vote blue because they're educated. He's also sending fake text messages pretending to be the Harris campaign, talking about something called Project 2028. Complete BS just because there's a real Project 2025 from the Heritage Foundation connected to Trump, and it makes him look really bad. So they're trying to make Kamala look bad, and he thinks it's gonna work. But Americans are smart. We see through it. And the one thing that Elon knows that he doesn't have power over is our right to vote. None of his billions of dollars can stop us from voting. He knows that our vote is more powerful than any asset he has, than anything he could possibly do to try to suppress our vote and get Trump elected. So I implore you, please vote. Do all you can, take off work, do whatever you need to do to vote. Experts say that if we show up in record numbers to vote, there's no way Trump can win, and he'll lose by a large margin. The only way he can win is if many of us don't vote out of apathy or for whatever reason. Elon Musk thinks that he's gonna get away with all this stuff and that it's gonna work, but it's not, because we are going to show up to vote and vote for Kamala Harris.
So it turns out there was voter fraud going on in Georgia, which happened to be by none other than Elon Musk. This is a new article from the New Republic. In October of 2024, the Georgia Secretary of State's office launched an investigation after receiving numerous reports from residents across several counties saying that they received partially pre-filled absentee ballot applications from Musk's America PAC. Evidence suggests that America PAC had violated a state law that prohibits any person or entity other than the authorized relative to send an elector an absentee ballot application pre-filled with the elector's required information. So in October of 2024, Elon Musk's PAC's out here sending pre-filled fucking absentee ballots. I like to say that we didn't see this coming, but yeah.
In the building behind me, Elon Musk is seizing power from the American people.
No, he's not. He's doing what the American people voted for. We voted for the Department of Government Efficiency to come in and clean up all the waste in the system. In order for them to do that, that requires them to have access to the financials and see where money is being sent. This isn't complicated, but let's let her continue.
Elon Musk spent $280 million to buy an election for Donald Trump. Now, Elon Musk is here to collect on his investment.
So what, is he going to steal the money out of my grandma's retirement account and deposit it in his account? What is he doing to collect on his investment? For one, he does not have the power to redirect any payments. He only has view-only access. But that's not convenient for the Democrats' fear-mongering. The reason he invested that money into the election is because he saw the Democratic Party as a threat to our civilization. He said this himself. I'm not saying this. He also has seen what the Democratic Party's ideals and values have done to one of his own children. But let's let her fear-mongering tirade continue.
He is here to seize power for himself. We are here to fight back.
They look so goofy. This is so goofy. They're just using the fact that he's wealthy and a billionaire, right, to manipulate people into supporting Democrats and hating Elon Musk so the Democrats can get back in power. That's all she's doing. And it's gross. Notice, she never tells you how he's seizing power. He's a billionaire, he's rich, and he's got access, and he's doing everything for himself, and he bought an election. You should not vote for him or the Republicans, you should vote for us. We're good, we're moral, we're fighting against it. Shut up. No, you're not. You're manipulative. Let's see how else this individual tries to manipulate people.
Musk has grabbed control of America's payment system. Yes. This is the system that makes sure that your grandpa gets his Social Security check on time.
For one, he didn't grab control. He was given access to view where transactions are going. If his job is to eliminate unnecessary and wasteful spending, yes, he needs to be able to view where the money's going. So he has view-only access to the system. She's out here telling you that he has control of it, and then she's fear-mongering, trying to get people to freak out about, oh, my grandma's Social Security check, all my benefits, he might just rip it away. She's trying to scare you, and she should be called out for it. She's choosing specific words to paint a specific perception of what's happening when that is not actually accurate. For example, he grabbed control. No, he was given access by the federal government to view this and recommend what things should be cut. She wants to manipulate people's perception to get them to think something that's not true, so they will vote against the right. And she's also trying to destroy Elon Musk's reputation and his credibility. It's disgusting. They keep trying to manipulate people. We need to keep calling.
Donald Trump thought he was sending a private message to Elon Musk and instead posted it to his Truth Social, and in doing so revealed exactly where he stands in this internal fight between traditional America First MAGA and the new, more immigrant MAGA with Elon Musk. Now, Donald Trump posted this to Truth Social, and in doing so, he reveals he sides with Elon Musk, saying to Musk, "Where are you? When are you coming to the center of universe, Mar-a-Lago? Bill Gates asked to come tonight. We miss you and X. New Year's Eve is going to be amazing." By the way, X, of course, is Elon Musk's son, so that was most definitely meant for Elon Musk. So this signals to MAGA, the traditional MAGAs, the people that stuck with him through everything, through the trials, the convictions, January 6th, all of the stuff he has said and done. He has said to you, we're good. Don't need for you anymore. I'm not running again, so I'm going to do this my way with my new rich friend, and I am just going to toss you to the side. You thought it was America first? No, we're not doing that. It's Donald Trump first, and I like the money.
Elon Musk just removed the location tag feature, which shows the country an account is posting from after tons of MAGA accounts were exposed for not being from the United States. Here's the first one going by MAGA Scope. They were exposed for being from Nigeria. And this account going by Captive Dreamer, as you can see, he's got the MAGA hat on in his profile picture, is actually from Australia. And here we have an Ivanka Trump news page that's also from Nigeria. Here's another big MAGA account, and as you can tell, he's from India. This guy who goes by the name Conscious Philosopher is actually from Serbia. Here's one of his posts down here saying, in the American Civil War, Confederates were actually the good guys. Right after a massive wave of accounts pushing pro-Trump propaganda got exposed for being overseas, Elon Musk decided to delete the feature. This confirms what many people have been speculating for a long time, that many of these big MAGA accounts are actually just bot farms. They create hundreds of thousands of accounts pretending to be from America, flood the internet with political propaganda, then just hope nobody can see where they're posting from. And when they got exposed for doing this, Elon Musk didn't increase transparency, he decided to take it away.
Has anyone ever checked for a zipper? Because there is no way you can convince me that Elon Musk is a real human being. Has anyone checked for a zipper? So I am currently working on 2 different deep dives, and both of those deep dives, this guy is a topic of discussion. And I know what you're gonna say, Becca, we cannot stand this guy. We cannot sit here and talk about him. Friends, I want you to remember that it's very important that we understand that we cannot fight our enemies if we do not know our enemies. Right? And I'm also doing a deep dive into how we are all witnessing our already flawed democracy turn into a restrictive oligarchy literally before our eyes, and how multiple individuals in the incoming administration seem to have bought their way into the White House with ease. And I feel like we are long overdue for a good dragging of a man. But seriously, when it comes to Elon Musk, the only thing that has remained consistent in his life, from all the research that I have done about him thus far, has been the ability to make money. And continuing to make money is dangerously important to this man. And he is now one of the most powerful people in the country, if not the world. The way we all witness this man have the power with a singular tweet be able to throw the entire United States government into disarray, nearly bringing it to a complete halt, and then go on to encourage the government to stay closed until January 20th, should absolutely alarm you. Like the way this man did not bat an eye when he knew the implications of government shutdown would mean the military isn't getting paid. It would mean the majority of the TSA agents aren't getting paid. He knew that our cybersecurity and infrastructure security agencies would suspend or at least scale back on our routine security reviews. Half of the CDC would have faced being furloughed in the wake of California declaring a state of emergency for a virus that has broken out. This man did not bat an eye when it came down to the American people. He didn't bat an eye knowing that the majority of Americans cannot survive 30 days with no pay. Now more than ever do we need the CDC. Now more than ever do we need the FDA. Now more than ever, it's the holidays, do we need TSA agents that shouldn't have to work for free. This man did not bat an eye because he wanted to cut things like pediatric cancer research from this proposed bill. This man literally has a plan to colonize Mars, and we wonder why there's things in the sky. They're mad, okay? They see historically how people on this rock colonize things. Aliens are probably just trying to stop this guy from colonizing the galaxies, the Intergalactica. But you know, we'll get into it more later this weekend because I think you guys are gonna find it very interesting how frequently this man tends to contradict himself and have changing views and just displays it for the world that he is about as weak and spineless as they come. If you take a step-by-step look through how this man has conducted himself through his life, he makes it very clear why he is the way that he is. He makes it very clear why he feels the need to act like a bully as an adult. Because we know people who are bullies don't just wake up and say, I want to be mean today. There's a transaction there. They're getting some kind of equity out of punching down, out of being a bully. Elon Musk is already one of the most powerful and wealthy men in the world, but still he feels the need to punch down on people and bully people and belittle people. So be on the lookout for those deep dives. They'll probably be out later this weekend or early next week.
Elon donated more to help Trump win than almost anyone else, but what was in it for him? Well, there's a selfish, cynical angle, but also a wholesome angle. I'll try to outline both as objectively as I can, and you can decide for yourself which one you believe. On the cynical angle, Elon probably knows that a Trump White House is extremely profitable for him. In fact, Elon's net worth already surged by $70 billion in a single week after Trump got elected because stock prices soared for his company Tesla. But why did Tesla stock soar? Well, it's probably because Tesla investors know that Elon can use his new power and influence as Trump's good friend to make the company far richer. One of the most direct ways that Elon could do this is through his role as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency. This department's job is to cut regulation, and Elon could try to cut regulation on Tesla. See, Tesla is currently being investigated by federal agencies because of its full self-driving feature for its cars and upcoming robotaxis. The government is a bit anxious about this feature's consumer safety, though this type of government regulation slows things down for Elon, so Elon could simply try and cut it. Tesla regulation aside, Elon could also try to enrich his other company SpaceX directly. See, SpaceX's biggest client is the US government, which spends billions of dollars on SpaceX contracts, and Elon could now get that client to spend a little bit more. Or he could even try and get the Trump government to spend $900 million in taxpayer dollars to fund Starlink like he's done before. However, there is still a wholesome angle to all of this. To start, because Elon has spent decades building a strong reputation among many of his followers as an inventor who genuinely cares about the public good, he likely wouldn't risk damaging this precious reputation just to make a quick buck from doing those above activities. Elon also simply loves America and has described it as the greatest force for good of any country that's ever been, and may genuinely want what's best for the country. And it is possible that he genuinely wants to use his new role in cutting government efficiency to cut regulation that hinders all American businesses, not just his own. As an example of how genuinely overregulated the US government is, he cites one example where regulators wouldn't let SpaceX launch a rocket unless he proved that the sharks wouldn't be harmed by the rocket. After the SpaceX team conducted this shark safety analysis, however, they still weren't ready to go, because the regulators then asked, well, what about the whales? This kept going, and regulators would ask, what if the rocket goes underwater, then explodes, and the whales have hearing damage? And Elon states that SpaceX was even forced to kidnap seals, put earphones on them, play sonic boom sounds as an imitation for his rockets, and see if the seals looked upset by the sounds. And although this is one anecdote, there is evidence to suggest that the government is operating extremely inefficiently. For example, when a consulting firm was tasked with finding ways to help the US US Department of Defense cut unnecessary spending, this consulting firm found $125 billion in taxpayer dollars that were wasted on basically paying people to work in administrative jobs where they didn't really do all that much work. All of this does mean that the US has a legitimate budget balancing problem. The country has had a budget deficit every single year since 2001, and Elon wants to get the country into a budget surplus for the first year in decades by cutting $2 trillion off of the $7 trillion in annual government spending. Regardless of whether you believe that Elon has good or bad intentions though, it will probably be hard for Elon's government efficiency recommendations to actually get passed by Congress, as budget cuts have historically been extremely difficult to get passed. For example, when Rand Paul proposed cutting government spending by just 6% year over year, it was rejected by both sides. Republicans didn't want to cut defense spending, and Democrats didn't want to cut social services. And the sharp budget cuts that Elon is proposing could be especially politically unpopular, as he has stated that these planned reductions would involve some temporary hardship. But most politicians don't really want to be blamed for putting the country through temporary hardship because that doesn't really help them win their re-election in the next 2 years. On the other hand though, Elon has a lot more influence over the American public than someone like Rand Paul and is generally seen as brilliant, meaning if he can convince the American people that his budget cut recommendations are necessary, then that public support may pressure Congress to get his budget cuts passed.
Somebody to tell me they're lying right now because what the do you mean that I'm not gonna get my SNAP benefits? What the do you mean?
We are possibly going to lose our farm if NRCS doesn't hold up their contract with us on the EQIP program. Because of the executive orders, there's a pause or a freeze on the funding, and they're not able to pay out on the stuff that we completed or anything going forward.
Beyond betrayed. They used us during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party. They actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
I mean, you're an educator. You didn't vote for Trump eliminating federal funds.
No, I did not vote for that. I do not think that's what the voters want. If we have federal cuts, then that's going to mean bigger classroom sizes. I would lose teachers, first and foremost. It's devastating.
Okay, so news tonight is that Elon Musk and the America PAC, his PAC that he is CEO of, are being sued by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for their little scheme. They're not being sued directly for election interference or for any kind of voter interference. They're being sued for public nuisance laws because the Commonwealth is saying that they are running an illegal lottery. They're saying that they are operating a lottery that in the state of Pennsylvania, all lotteries have to be run by the state and they have to be the benefit of the elderly. I guess everything in the state lottery goes to benefit people 65 or older, which this does not. They also claim that they are doing a lot of stuff in secrecy. They don't have clear rules. They don't have a Privacy Act stated. There's no expectation. You have to give your personal information to get signed up for this. And the two schemes that they're talking about is the one of the $1 million, the $1 million lottery, where they're drawn at random, which is not, they're claiming it's not at random because the two of the people were actually in attendance at Elon's rallies. So how can it be at random when it's somebody that's in attendance? The other scheme is the one where if you have people, registered voters, come sign up for their First Amendment and their whatever the petition was, you would get the $47 and they increased it to $100. And then in exchange, you have to give all your personal information, which they do not have any right of privacy. There's no privacy policy for that information. So they do not have any kind of protection of that information. It also says that right now no one has been paid out, and it says that they'll be paid out by the end of November, which is very suspicious. I bet that $100 will never be seen. I don't know about the $1 million. An interesting point in it was that they also said that as of the end of September, the America PAC had spent like $133 million on campaigns and opposing campaigns, and that Elon Musk had put in $75 million, and also they spent millions of other dollars on communications. So it disclosed how much money they have been spending. So they actually make specific claims about this. Is not about election interference. This is strictly about running an illegal lottery because they claim it's at random. And then it also says that even if they come back and say it's not a lottery, then they get hit with deceptive policies, which is against their Consumer Protection Act, where they lied to the consumers about being drawn at random. And they did not draw the $1 million drawings at random. They picked them from some other reason. So either way, they're basically like the state is basically saying like, we've got you. And so it's an injunction for them to stop the policies. So it should be, go to Attorney Di. She's live. I mean, if you're seeing this right now, she's live right now reading the lawsuit, and follow her anyways, because she has great information and she reads through all these lawsuits. But you'll see if he stops. I don't think he really cares. But I don't know. He's one of those criming immigrants. Maybe we have to deport him.
Never again do I want to hear about George Soros or anybody giving Democrats people money to show up and participate and protest or anything else. Because Elon Musk just took to social media or to his tweet or Twitter or a X or whatever they call it now to say that he's going to be giving out $1 million checks to voters in Wisconsin that show up. He's personally going to go to Wisconsin and give out two $1 million checks to voters, random voters in Wisconsin, for voting in the Supreme Court election. There's a Republican that he's backing, and there's a Democrat that's running, and she's gaining a lot of steam. But I am so tired of, oh, the Democrats are getting paid for this, the Democrats are getting paid for that. Who gives a shit? Especially since Elon Musk is running around giving $1 million checks now. So is that fair game? We're just buying elections? Buying voter turnout? He's a special advisor to the President of the United States, correct? And this is open game on any platform? Well, I guess if he keeps giving his money out and Tesla stocks just keep dropping like they are, then maybe he'll run out of money too. Who knows? Or maybe he won't be able to run around and pay for United States elections to turn out in the way that his favor or his king's favor. Very frustrating. So yeah, let's not hear about any more, oh, the Dems are getting paid debit cards for this, or when you have billionaires out giving out $1 million checks to voters, personally handing them out, and then taking to social media and just telling the world what he's going to do. Does our elections really have the integrity of elections anymore? Is it all just being bought again? It used to be behind the scenes, you know, corporate donors and this and that. Now it's just blatantly right in your face. But good luck, Wisconsin. Good luck, Wisconsin. And I really hope that you do get the Democrat. She is a fantastic leader, and she's running for the Supreme Court. And it is a big election because it is really divided. And this election will make or break if this court's going to continue to go conservative or if this court's going to start looking at things a little bit more liberal. But the people will remember what's happening. Elon Musk out there just spreading that money. How many people are going to show up in false voter rolls? Let's start that whole conspiracy. Want to do that one? Trying to get $1 million check. Shameful. All right, my friends, let me know what you think about it. Like it or not. Let me know in the chat. And if you'd like to hang out again, be sure to hit the button right there as we come through every day. All right, my friends, we will catch up and we will see you soon. Bye.
This was October 5th, 2024.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, you tell me.
Wait, why does he actually talks like this?
Yes, he actually talks like this. And I wasn't being hyperbolic when I said
Can I read this one?
Yes, you can read the whole thing.
I'm feeling more optimistic after tonight, and tomorrow we unleash the anomaly in the Matrix. This is not something on the chessboard, so they will be quite surprised. In air quotes, lasers from space. What? And you made a joke.
It was a Marjorie Taylor Greene joke.
Yeah, you made a Jewish space laser joke.
Is it finally a focus on the Jewish vote?
And he laughed at it. And then I have over 10,000 lasers in space right now.
So he doubles down and says and quantifies his number of space lasers.
Waste, fraud, and abuse, right? That's all we heard at the beginning of the Trump administration. Elon Musk had to come in and steal all of our personal information and data, and God knows what other kind of information he got from us. In the meantime, Donald Trump was suing the IRS for, I don't know, releasing his tax returns, which he should have did on his own goddamn term. But now Schittler's going to drop that $1.7 million lawsuit or whatever it was so that he can independently launch a fund of $1.7 billion so that him and anybody who feels as though they were targeted by the Biden administration, meaning the January 6th insurrectionists that fucking committed treason against our country. And fucking this guy and all of his merry band of people that tried to overturn the 2020 election, all those people that lost their law licenses, Mike Flynn, they're going to take $1.7 billion of our taxpayer money and give it to everybody who feels as though they were wronged. And last time I checked, the president of the United States can't unilaterally allot money to anything. That is a job of Congress. And honestly, all those people deserve is a fucking jail cell. But no, the president is opening up a fund so they can all be compensated for their crimes they committed on behalf of the president himself. And we get to pay for it while they take healthcare from children and seniors and food stamps and, veterans benefits. We can't afford all that. But we can afford a $2 billion slush fund to pay a bunch of insurrectionists. Worse, it can't get any worse. We're at the gates of hell.
Let's talk about Elon Musk for a second, because the guy who owns Twitter is using Twitter as a platform for spreading disinformation to his 200 million followers. Again, it's a platform he owns. This isn't a surprise. I mean, the guy doesn't just jump on stage and show his belly at Trump rallies. He also has a huge platform, and what he's basically using it for is to become a voice for the disinformation about the election that Trump wants to be spread. And we are not even at election day yet. So he's been spreading these false claims about fraud in Pennsylvania. I suspect that is just the beginning. And I don't want to freak anyone out here, but I feel like going into next week, as we all caffeinate and hydrate and do all the things in between, we need to be clear-eyed about what he's capable of. And so when you see him tweeting things out there, take it for what it is. He is a voice and a vehicle for Trump's disinformation, not anything else.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that Georgia found that Elon committed voter fraud and as a consequence just sent him a letter, or the fact that no one's been talking about it. On February 18, 2026, Georgia State Elections Board members voted that Elon Musk and his super PAC, America PAC, violated their state election laws by sending Georgia citizens unofficial pre-filled voter absentee ballots. I need you to grasp that they voted and said that he broke the law. He committed voter fraud. And as a consequence, they sent him a letter that just said, don't do that again. But Peter, if it's an unofficial absentee ballot, what's the big deal? No one outside of the government is supposed to send you a ballot, let alone an absentee ballot. First off. Second off, they already said it was illegal. Third off, it's supposed to disenfranchise the voter. You were supposed to be tricked by it, thinking you filed an actual absentee ballot. And then when you don't get your absentee ballot, you then can't vote and are then not able to participate in the election, thus swinging the election in favor of those who sent you the fake absentee ballot. And now that you understand this, it adds a little more weight to that raid that Tulsi Gabbard was mysteriously at when they took all of the ballot information in Georgia a few weeks back. Now, before I end the class today, I'd like to briefly remind everyone that this is not new. In 2020, Republicans across multiple states tried to claim that they were certified electors for the Electoral College when they weren't, and are currently still in litigation over them being caught. They are testing the limits of our election laws.
Elon Musk's ex, Ashley Sinclair, just posted a video admitting that Elon Musk was in fact completely involved in Trump's 2025 election. Are we shocked? Absolutely not even close. She has proof that he was able to access the votes as they were coming in live, which, as we all know, is completely illegal. And she divulged that he was using space satellites to farm all of this election data in real time. Again, highly illegal. Mind you, Elon Musk was born and raised in South Africa. He didn't move to the United States and become a naturalized citizen until he was 31 years old. And yet this guy has more access to our sensitive, confidential government info, our election information, and our personal voter records than we do as citizens. And of course, we haven't forgotten that Elon Musk is absolutely riddled throughout the Epstein files thousands of times, begging Jeffrey Epstein to come have the absolute party of a lifetime and wants to meet lots of hot girls, and of course, not the peaceful island experience. And is it any sort of coincidence that Elon Musk is suddenly back into being super involved with elections now that midterms are coming? And of course it's no coincidence, because he's actively manipulating our elections right in front of our faces. We have the proof, we have the knowledge, and now we have the witnesses, so where's the investigation? But we can't even get an investigation for the fucking Epstein files, so I guess we're gonna have to wait for someone to pull up their little diaper and get to work, huh?